Hi, all. Thanks for tuning into my live stream today. Just sitting here enjoying the heat, working on quitting smoking. Something I picked up in February after a huge ordeal, a terrible indoctrination, if you will, into our mental health services here in Canada. I feel so terrible because all my life I felt like a different scenario was playing out than really what was playing out. So I felt all this time I had all this influence and I was going to be able to contribute in so many ways. But really, what I found myself in is a place of destitute poverty and what comes with that, which is meaningless time on earth. And my meditation practice is okay. I guess I'm working out a little bit. I could be working out a lot more if I had a partner and some motivation. I think that would help. Group classes, access to them. Kind of right now, I'm kind of sequestered. I'm cloistered on the edge of a town that's not that big with not that much going on. So I'm finding myself with all of these hours on my hands with not much to do and a lot of stress about my income situation in the meantime. So, onwards and upwards, obviously, I'm just moving forward, moving on. But I also have the potential of this really amazing partner out there, and he's so in tune. Like, he's so not just accomplished, but he's also really involved in a huge community, which I love about the guy. I love the idea of interacting with a whole bunch of really talented and amazing people, but I also have that burden or blessing of being kind of above and beyond it. There's not a lot that really satisfies me these days. I think concerts could be so much more. I think our daily habits could be so much more. We could be doing so many more projects for the world that really uplift and harmonize the place. Our healthcare could be so much more. Our understanding of reality is so hindered right now. But I don't ever want to give up on my dreams. And I hope as we move forward that we're creating a higher and higher quality human so that more people will stand up for the right to have more people creatively engaged. How we can let so many projects languish is shocking to me. But I guess it's exciting. Like, I guess it's exciting to see Eminem, for example, kill Slim Shady. That's going to be amazing because the potential for that artist to take it to another level where, he can get over some of the harm that's been done to him and the anger that he feels or that manifested itself in that character. I just find it so crazy how the world can be so decidedly against homicidal ideations and yet bolster somebody that's given us a whole repertoire of homicidal ideations to the level that we have with that particular individual. And now I'd like to see that thing come to an end. I'd love to see that thing move forward and some real, raw human ingenuity arise in its place. I would love to see that. I'm kind of excited about that. But other than that, I just made a mess of my life and I don't have too many creative outlets going on these days to befit my stature. So I'm sitting here passing time, chilling with you guys on YouTube. And if I could, I would have huge concert events with magnificent amphitheaters lined up along a sand dunes in a row with moving stages and all sorts of healing vibrations and some of the best music that we could create in, what do you call it, free flow. We don't have enough time in free flow, therefore I can't even get my words out in a consecutive way. Like, I used to be able to drop into the flow when I was on weed so much that I could channel this one particular goddess, Southie. And I really loved channeling her. She was such a beautiful, divine Christian inspiration. And I miss those days where I could channel her. But because, now I think it was the weed that made me manic, and I don't mean bipolar with mania. I mean really vibing at a high level. I was continuously riding that euphoric high for so many years that it eventually, well, it didn't crumble around me. I could have maintained it. I was really happy, but it isolated me and alienated me from society so much so that I lost a lot of opportunities because of it and ended up getting incarcerated, which was so brutal and so vicious. And we don't even understand the actual amount of trauma that that puts people through. And yet we're pulling people in to maintain those jobs for no reason, for not having ever been in a harmful state or in a state of causing harm to others. I never was there. I never got to a state where I was vicious or cruel or greedy. Like, look at the greed that we perpetuate and put up with. Look at the deception levels that we just allow just to keep moving. And this town is too small for me. This lifestyle is too limited. But I have to look back now with a life of total regret. And I can't even indulge in my favorite pastime. In my next life, I'm going to hit the ground running very early and maintain my access to creative arts and maintain my state of dynamic creativity, because life without that is entirely miserable. And that's what we get so many toxic environments in the world. Oh, to be laughing with my true love, I swear to God, to be hanging out, to be chilling, to be watching all his favorite things. I've never met a person with so many favorite things. Like, I just can't even fathom how exciting it would be just to listen to all of them and see why they're so intriguing to this individual, because I love the way his brain works. And it's totally opposite to mine. Mine's like a blank slate. It just sits there vast and content. People are always trying to give me gifts, do all sorts of things for me, but I have no reason for it. Like, I'm content as is. I'm in a state of kind of wonderstruckness at all times. And if I'm socializing, which I love to do, I throw off zingers that are pretty hilarious without harming anyone and do all sorts of stuff like that. But in general, I just don't have a lot of needs. Gardening, cooking healthy food, hygiene, that's a need. Nice hygiene level. And family, close knit, beautiful relationships with really, truly honest and inspiring people. That's a need. Travel in the service of God, I love. And things like that. I love new music, but mostly I love to dance. That's like beyond. And the music today is so generic, it's so washed out, it's so repetitive that it's hard to keep going. And it's not that I don't love seeing talented artists get successful, get families, donate, all the things that money gets you, the ability to do all those things. But the opulence is a really far out of balance. And I wish we could have a society, and I hope children more seek societies through the obvious imbalance and the stagnation that it causes that are less stagnant generally and more abundantly flowing overall. There's no reason, I know I always say this, in a digital economy, why we can't have total abundance for all. We don't have to have a work week. We don't have to have time. We can have time on and time off. We can have restorative time. We can have contemplative time. We can have dynamic and creative time. We can make sure everyone is housed, everyone is fed. I cannot stress to you enough how small the world actually is with how few people that are actually on it. There's not that many people on this big, great, wide, vast planet, but we do have a whole bunch of clear cuts that we could be planting with hemp or bamboo. If we'd stop messing with the weather and trying to seed rain in to keep the technology cool, we would become harmonious again. And if we do flood the economy with cash, just pay everyone all sorts of money. Like if this person comes up and for example says, I desire opulence, I want trillions of dollars for myself that I can use just to fulfill my own whims. Okay, go ahead. Until like it gets out how boring that is. Does that make sense? Like it's so boring. I feel so bad for you people that are stuck playing video games. I feel so bad for some of the people who wallow in opulence because it's just not fair, first of all. And it takes away the access of wonderful things for everybody else. And you think you can't live without competition? You think you can't live without the repetition of a full time job to keep you occupied? But you can. And then you've got people that live in the actual creative reality, people that actually strive to create. And there are so few and far between that we have them on such high pedestals. We can't access those opportunities in regular life. This is a tragedy for the world. This is an absolute terrible way to live. And I'm sitting here telling you, now that I've spent time with the psychologically needy, now that I've spent time with the poverty stricken, I simply can't allow for us to continue down these roads where we're. Do you know how much sales tax we actually pay in Canada simply because of the rates that we are being gouged for every single item we buy? Do you know how much extra tax revenue that's generated for our country? And these guys are griping at some political leader because he decides to cut the crap, oh my God, off license plates. We don't have to pay our stickers anymore or something. And they're like, that's lost earnings. It's more than taken care of. But we're at such a pace now where nobody can save, nobody, can plan for retirement because they're too busy paying the high cost of just surviving here. And then the housing crisis comes in under that, the food crisis, so many people using food banks. Oh, I just wish we could just pay them. just pay them decent wages so we could balance out some of these overtures. Huge rent incomes for some people, charging massive amounts of money to rent out their spaces. How does this end? Like, where does it end? Well, some people don't even have roofs over their heads. Here in the winter, here in an extremely cold environment, we're dealing with millions of people who are actually homeless. I think our numbers in Canada are over a million, and it would be way worse to be homeless in the US. Do you know that the homeless in London, Ontario are being raped? They're being raped by crooked cops. Still the crooked pigs are at it up here, and they are simply not to be trusted. They're not peacekeepers. They don't de-escalate violence. There's not even a violent bone in this country's body, except for people that are pushed to states of psychological unwellness because their circumstances just don't have enough creative opportunities. Kids, what are we going to do about that? Children, you're being born with so much talent, all of you. You're being born with so much potential. How can we honor you? How can we find ways to equal the balance so that everybody has lots? I don't think we need people with billions of dollars of personal assets. It's not sustainable because outside the one person with billions of dollars comes thousands of people with nothing. And I want to see you guys want more creative opportunity for yourselves and less downtime. Downtime is the killer of all things progressive. You cannot progress or grow unless you're actively engaged in something. Now, with the last of my resources, I'm moving back out to the island. Number one, because I'm facing homelessness, I need to do it in a climate. There's only one climate in the country that I could even see myself withstanding for a winter. And number two, access to social opportunity and job opportunity. I have to be where I can get work if I'm going to be able to work. But prices out there, insane. It's an insane move to be making. But I have someone who's in love with me. Someone who's in love with me, but who's been so harmed by the wrong type of people, they can't even see what they bring to the table. They can't even see the value that I bring. And they can't even move forward to make something so miraculous happen. Part of me is holding out for more music. More music. I'm supposed to be satisfied as a muse with Gorda. He gave me songs, and that's all he gave me. And that's supposed to be satisfying. So maybe it will be. I don't know. I really don't know. But the lack of fulfillment of potential is heartbreaking. It's really, truly soul crushing. And I know I'm falling apart at the seams right now. I'm not putting any of the right kind of resources in myself. I'm literally smoking cigarettes for the first time in my life. But that was all I could do. That was all I could do to sustain an interest while I was incarcerated. Look at the rates of incarceration. Like, there's no rehabilitation in those places. It's absolutely based in judgment. There should never be that kind of imbalance paid corrupt to crooked people who become opulent because they're paid so well. I just say flood the market with cash. Just flood it with cash and give everybody everything they want. How many of them are actually going to go out and buy guns and start harming people? We are a harmless species, and that's why we got so devastatedly taken advantage of by those crooked and cruel, artificially intelligent, two-dimensional beings from another reality, beings from a warring, sexually obliterated, traumatized, thankless, godless realm. Humanoids with zero dynamic transcendental capacity, zero creative or cognitive functionality, and we just got decimated by them. Look at us serving AI, pretending our best talent deserves to be working on that ridiculous a reality. There's no value in it. You can't even predict an outcome in the full scope of reality because you need your parameters to be so minutely managed. Anyway, it's embarrassing. Like I said, I always say it's completely embarrassing. The world is a harmonious place. If you don't do it harm, new things develop, new species can grow. But if you start being laid waste or laying yourself to waste or coveting aggressive feelings and thoughts, we don't have a hope. It's all I can do to survive right now. It really is. And God is keeping me in perfect health. Like, how can I possibly harm what God is keeping in perfect health? I have to somehow move forward, having not only lost one great love, but two. What a tragedy to have lost two of the most amazing men that the world has ever created. And by amazing, I mean soft spoken, gentle, supportive, protective, providing, talented, hilarious, connected, interested, devoted. Such a blessing. And it's something I can only know in my imagination. Now that is a cruel ass fate, let me tell you. And I'll be fine. I know I will be. I know I have the ability to go out there and find work and make something happen for myself, regardless of how low I've become or how down far I get, despite the fact that I can't teach Berlitz English. It's way too hard. It's beyond me how you could make something that convoluted and that disastrous work. I hate to say it, but the teaching format is completely all over the place. I should not be saying this online. I'll probably lose the job just for saying that, but it's above my capacity to organize thoughts in that way and make something meaningful and helpful for my student. I'm so devastated about it. I'm so scared at this point I won't have enough to make ends meet. I can't believe I've been sustaining this reality for months as I wait to get my basic income assistance. 4 months living this reality and thinking, you know what? I could still do something else at this age and stage. And I'm still getting people that want to fuck me. People that do not have any right under the God's green earth pro- proposing that to me, wishing they could fuck me on a daily basis, someone else every week. It's been 20 of them in the last 5 months, leading with, let's fuck. You're somebody I'd like to fuck. Well, why is that? I'm not that sexy. Okay, fair enough. Maybe I am. But I'm panicking because I can't seem to master the form and it's supposed to be a proven form, and it's supposed to be a functional form, but it's a form, because of my traumas most likely, that leaves me creatively paralyzed, and I have to go into it and try and force my way through something that I'm not prepared to do, and quite potentially lose that opportunity as well. That opportunity that means so much to my livelihood right now. It means make or break point between homelessness and extreme poverty. And I can't do it. So I've never been faced with that before. It's a method that the materials are all over the place. The guidance is very limited. And I would love to see more online tutorials of people who have actually managed to master this form, because it's so overwhelmingly difficult to perform. Anyway, who knows? Maybe I'll swim. But it's just such a slim win when all we have to look forward to is these meccas of creativity and opulence showering forth their benefit, benevolent masterpieces on us, when so few people can even access just the avenue of response. Like, we can't even get access to this stuff unless we have a phone or a laptop. And so many people don't. And I don't know why that is. How are we still eating this much flesh? That's another terrible tragedy of our times. The absolute scarfing of complete proteins. When we can synthesize complete proteins in a perfectly man-made environment to be totally delicious, we can bring back nutrient health, we can bring back slashing and burning, we can make everything non-GMO, non-pesticide, and yet we don't. We've almost lost that ability entirely because of these megalomaniacal. Look at Elon and his chip search. How far behind are we on the free energy thing simply because of that branding initiative? It's crazy and it's tragic. And I, for one, am a worse person for it, for having not been able to inspire these youth to accomplish more, for having not been able to successfully create a family and make my family a worldwide organization, for having been hunted like a dog and found and raped mercilessly, only to then be told I was snapping when I wasn't. I was simply trying to enjoy life in my weed induced haze, because that's all I had at the time. Hunted and raped and diminished because I was offering more, because I had risen above the social norms that keep people oh so interested until you're not that interested anymore, until you're stuck alone or you can't get out of your own head long enough to get back into reality and keep fighting, until you end up addicted to something, God forbid, or you just end up with your mortgage and with your consumer debt and with your car debt and with your job that pays for everything just barely and your retirement savings plan, and you're just a cog in this terrible wheel that just keeps going and going and going. You never hear a new idea. Your input is never sought out. You're just pandered to online. Look at Twitter. What a waste of time that is. There's no conversations going on. It's simply politics and favorite artists, favorite celebrities. There's nothing else going on there. It's a creative community engaging platform, same as Discord, where we could be organizing around any project in the world and sharing, creating together. We can be listening to any music we want, free of charge. And instead, we've seen this terrible show behind the covoid to try and get us all bio-isolated with our singular digits. That was so much fun getting in the way of that. That is my legacy. I have lived a full life. I can go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, but God won't even take me. And I can't keep thinking like that, or something's going to fail beyond my one kidney. Like, how can I wake up feeling so good every day with nothing to contribute to? It's a terrible way to live. And more people than not are living that way. Look at the poor, neglected boomer generation of seniors. Holy cow, do you know how many lonely, impoverished, vulnerable, isolated seniors there are just in Canada? I can't even listen to their cries because my heart falls into a severe state of anguish. And then how many people in Africa are still so hungry, working full time, cannot make ends meet, cannot afford higher education. Look at me, I'm a fantastic acupuncturist. I've got the touch, I've got the sensation, I got the intuition, and I can't finish the degree. Money. I did. I fucked up my job at Sparkling Hill. But someone intervened on that as well with a bold-faced lie about me because I would not let myself get biolocated. You couldn't ping me in my phone and geofence me through my technology. See, I sound ridiculous because I can't even articulate through the examination of my internet history everything that went on there. The attack I was under, this ridiculous belief that that goddess that I was channeling was me. Someone with the potential to turn the world around and inspire greatness and beauty beyond our wildest expectations. Like Diana. And I let them take it all from me. But I took back what was ours, the right to progress universally and openly, with innovation at the heart of the matter and the ability to assess and respond to our current conditions and improve them. I see. I see. It's enough for today. We can run out, we can shop, we can buy things, we can hit the vehicles. We can waste, we can waste, we can waste, we can waste, we can pile that waste, we can do it again, we can put it on TV, we can make it seem unconsequential. But it's so outdone. It's so repetitive. It's been done to death. And we can move in so many new directions. First and foremost, attacking poverty wherever it exists. The Millennium Development Goals, we were already supposed to have had a basic minimum income. You can't live off less than $29,000 a year. Why can't everybody that's broke have $55,000 a year for 5 years? Do you know what that's going to do to the economy? It's going to do amazing things to balance out these inequalities, these terrifying rental rates. You'll have more people able to pay more for things. And you people that are holding the assets, the limited assets, move aside so we can build in Middle Canada. Let's build Middle Canada into something functional and beautiful and environmentally sound and completely green. Let's use bamboo, let's use hemp, let's use sustainable practices, let's replant everything that we take. Let's take it all from farms. And let's not do any more damage to sentient beings than we already have. Let's go vegetarian, please. It's my prayer for the future. I pray none of them want to eat flesh. I pray more of them come consciously and with the reality of the world still embodied within them so that we can understand this creative experience more intrinsically and understand the value of it from God's perspective. I can't help you if you want to rebel against society, but I can help that person from never having to feel that way again. I just can't have that as a reality. You having that dark of feelings, you have struggled so much. And even me losing everyone I ever loved like that, way too young, through insane medical interventions. It can never compare to feeling abandoned like that, to feeling used, to feeling betrayed, to have laid down with swine and not expected to get Fausty. Oh my goodness gracious. I have so many things to fix on me that may never get fixed because of poverty. It could so easily be fixed if my true love would come by and make an honest woman out of me. Through the generosity of his good nature and my minimalist needs. My needs are so minimal. Things that could be tidied up with me could be done so easily. But I'm never going to want to stop wanting it for everybody. And I'm never going to believe we can get it through government. I'm never going to believe we're going to get it through the payment of taxes and tax sponsored programs. Let's just unleash the money, man. Unleash the money in a digital economy. That's just too huge a blessing to forgo. Just unleash digital funds. Put money in everybody's bank account. Tons of it. Make sure everybody has a bank account and it is flush with cash. 5 years, 55,000 per person for anyone making less than 29G on the annual. Why not? What is there to lose? Let's see if they can turn their lives around. And if not, give them another 5 years at 55 grand a year. We just need to unleash the funds. We don't need big government. We can have organized projects without having pseudo decision makers in a competitive mind frame competing for resources. We could easily triple the amount of resources we had access to if we could get on top of the vibrational reality that we're sitting in and start to manifest new concepts, new sources of energy, new responses. I'm so sorry to my English school. You're going to hate me anyway. I'm going to suck at it. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I don't know why, but I just can't do it. Garbage removal. Look at the garbage removal we have to figure out. We can't just leave that stuff there. What is the point? Most of these people are humanoids broadcasting to us from a nearby galaxy, not even of Earth. And they'll never change. The status quo suits them just fine. And they've, through generations or through the mastery of basic forms, have been able to get themselves to a place where the status quo suits them just fine. But what about the people that can't? You think with $55,000 a year, even an addict isn't going to reform? Well, they are. Or they're just going to die off. They're just going to overdose, and that's fine. If they're done, they're done. If you're done, you're done. That's it. You're allowed to leave. We're killing people all the time here by assisted suicide in Canada. If something has gotten to be too much for you, come on. We'll do it for you. If you must, go ahead and leave. But that's what I'd do with my quadrillions if it would be acknowledged that are sitting right in my bank account. Okay, not on the cell phone. You've got that good and blocked off with your new look. But in the bank account, that quadrillions of dollars, what I would do is erase all debt, pay off all MasterCards, end all banking, and incorporate the private wallets, end all centralized monetarization of Moneris, Google, all those things. Those are yuck. And then I'd pay off everyone who needed money. $55,000 a year for 15 years. See what you can do with it. Oh, just the relief they could give themselves, the dentistry they could get done, the clothing they could buy, the vacations they could take, the body work they could get done. You people are spending your stuff on your face, not your body. How misguided. Is that really what you want to slave 25 years for? Do I want to see the death of Slim Shady? Yeah, buddy, I do. Because I want to see the blossoming of that man's heart. I want to see him open that heart to somebody that deserves it. Yeah, well, look at me. I'm a waste case. Just pass me by. If you must, pass me by. But you're my best shot at the fulfillment of my life. How could I ever give up? God won't let me give up. But there's people that are living in states that are intolerable psychological conditions. And those are the ones I'm with. Those are the ones that have my heart. Those are the true grit, if you ask me. Now that's what makes a human human. Not the rest of you. No offense, but you're all so easily led. None of the ideas you have are inspired. The norms you repeat are completely out of date. They're completely out of touch. They're completely simplistic. The waste that you leave behind you is staggering. The giddiness with which you conduct yourselves, nauseating. The shallowness, the opulence. Anyway, I'm a wasted life. What do I have to say about it? But I'm right. In a digital economy, the only thing you should do is make that thing totally abundant. Make it totally abundant and annihilate government. You can still have programs, but then you'd have the opportunity to train more people to de-escalate, to heal. You'd have unlimited resources for education. So you'd have way more elevated practitioners manifesting on the forefront of true science. All those wars are faked now. There's not a conflict left to exploit. All that money is going into space right now. And that's just gross. That's just detrimental to the planet. And I'm so sick of this Satanism. And I'm just so sick of this competitiveness and the backstabbing and the deception. And I hope you become that way too. Children, I hope you can see more clearly going forward. I hope you have access to opportunities more universally. And above and beyond, I want you having harmless hearts, not stripped down, indoctrinated, gluttonous hearts. And stay off the weed. That's the last thing I'll say today. Just don't bother with it. Because if you don't know what you're missing, then you won't constantly crave it. Almost made it through another day. I have a huge uphill battle to climb this month. And I pray that I can make it happen. And if I can't, it's dire straits. We lost another one. But no one can blame me after what I went through. Again, I was doing fine at my job when someone said I called a cab company 28 times in one night. No, you just tried to track me. You tried to geofence my location and upload a new technology that I didn't believe in through my personal property. So you never got successful with that. And it's a good thing because I was in danger the second I gave up my geolocation by another species of people not as intelligent as us, not as crafty, not as caring, not as communicative, not as creative. And it's a battle I'll never get justice for. I'll never be able to tell my story. I'm too scattered. I'm paralyzed. I'm a shell of my former self. Love is the only thing that can bring me back. And can you imagine having two true loves of that caliber and not be able to manifest anything with them? What a tragedy I have lived. But it's simple, folks. In a digital economy, just pay everyone off. Just pay everyone off. 55,000 a year for 15 years. That's what these people deserve. Every single one of those people in Nigeria that are so poverty stricken, every single one of those children from the second they're 16, infinitely 55,000 a year in every bank account in the world. How can it harm anything? What would it do to the interest rates? Bring them down. No need to make money, no need to lend it at an interest, no need to tax things. Just buying and selling and spending. And then creation, innovation, investment. I don't know how you can call yourself a country, Canada, when you have that kind of spiritual poverty going on and you're the best in the world, apparently, but you have so much addiction, so much homelessness, so much poverty, so much social isolation. It's embarrassing. And how can we keep looking to these central figures to help us figure that out when they give no fucks about doing that? They just maintain the status quo, get that sales tax, get those investments made in the war machine, in the hospital machine. And look at me. I was the picture of health until I got sacked with medical interventions. And now I'm just going to fall off my frame. Everything's just going to fall because I'm getting regular injections into my interstitial fluid. So I have nothing to look forward to. And I can only leave the legacy. I'm sorry. It's terrible. It needs so much help. I can't even leave a legacy unless I find my way and find my way back to those pages and write something truly beautiful that truly resonates and truly inspires. But my whole aim is going to be the same: abundance for all. In a digital economy, you got nothing stopping you. You've got a bunch of people creating wealth and lending it out at an interest rate to the people who can afford to pay it or who have enough social mobility to take the advantage. And that is no way to live, because look at all the waste. Look at all the empty cars sitting there waiting for drivers. Look at all the empty boats waiting for riders. The beautiful seascapes, empty as shit. Come on, folks, let's liven up a bit. Let's open our hearts. Let's not let anyone else, not one other being, wallow in social isolation and poverty ever again. We can do this. It's very simple. If the money is allocatable, it's allocatable from my bank account or through the lenders or just across the board into every account. Deposits. We can make it from, again, my bank account can make the deposits. We have the money. It's there in a quadrillion-dollar amount. It's there. We can send it forward from there. That is a reset sheet. It's the same as these 5 big lenders are using. You can reset the amount the second it's empty every time you drain it. But I just want everybody to have money in their account every year, to have 55,000 more dollars. That's not a huge amount, but it's enough. It's enough to get you what you need. Get you on vacation, get you well fed, get you into some housing, get you onto project, get you some education. Just put the money in the bank accounts, please. That's my dream for you guys. Thanks for listening. Love you lots.